All right, welcome back. Welcome to week 4 of Mastering Money Management with Urban Forex. Now, in this entire week, I want to talk about scaling in. Now, this is a very advanced topic, and I want you to actually be very considerate about this information, because if you do not have a solid understanding of the market flow, then maybe you should put off scaling in until a later date. Now, don't worry, this course is available for you for a lifetime. I will not take it away from you. It will be available in your library, so you can come back to it, revisit it when the time is right. Okay, so this is for those of you who already have a grasp of what you're doing in trading, and for some of you who might be trial and erroring or trying and attempting with scaling in with no success. Okay, so if you're looking at scaling in, there's two functionalities that we're looking at. Okay, we're going to call it the pyramiding functionality and the reverse pyramiding. Okay, so here's a pyramid, and the reverse pyramid is like this. So imagine like a triangle and an upside down triangle. Okay, now generally what happens is, assuming this is the same thing, you understand the nature of this trade, which is it's a downward market followed by a organized pullback that's struggling, and then as trade rolls over, you're looking to attempt for a sell to continue with the trend, right? Give me a better price. Once you get the better price, you want to go with the flow again. But once you're in the trade takes off so aggressively that you're starting to wonder, maybe I should hold on. But not just hold on, maybe I need to scale in. Okay, again, this is a very advanced topic. Okay, so I want you to be, you can listen to it now, but if you're not at this stage, you can save these lessons for a later date, but you can watch them now so you have it in the back of your mind as you are becoming a developed trader. Okay, this is more inclined for those of you who are already dealing with something like this, or some of the common mistakes around scaling in. Okay, all right, so the trade comes in, goes in hot, and you're considering, well, should I be adding more position? Obviously, you cannot add a position at that stage because you're already in the trade, but the trade starts to pull back here again. Now, with the knowledge you have of the sells are going to continue, you are attempting to scale in. Now, here's a problem that comes in a lot of the times. Position 1, okay, let's say the position 1 activated here. Let's assume after doing all the money management and calculator stuff, you come out with you're trading 10 standard lots. Okay, 10 standard lots is your size that you're trading, just as an example. Okay, I'll just put 10 stand. Okay, you're trading 10 standard lots. But when this trade gets prepared again, you are able to look at this from a lower time frame on the 15 with the idea of, hey, the flow is still running. I'm going to add here again. So you add another 10 standard lots. Okay, now this situation is incorrect. Okay, it's incorrect to be scaling in at the same height. Now what that means is, imagine if I was to draw a diagram of your position size. It would be 10 standard lots, and then later down the line, it's still 10 standard lots. It would look like a cylinder, right? It would look like that. What a pyramid and a reverse pyramid is you might be trading a larger size on top, but then you trade smaller as you go down. Okay, that's this design right here. It's the inverse pyramid, right? The other side of things is, remember, this is the safest place for you to take a trade up in this area, in these zones, because you're away from support area. But as you get closer and closer and closer to this area, without the idea and knowing of, what if it jumps back in and then holds and takes off up here again? Without that understanding, any trade that happens towards the lower aspect of things, putting the same lot size or even higher, is actually very dangerous. Is actually very, very dangerous. Okay, so the distinguish between pyramiding basically means you want to start off with your best positions as early as possible. And then if you do have to scale in, you want to scale in less. Okay? You don't want to do a standard pyramid by going in small and then scaling in further and further and further until you have a very large position here, but you started off small because you weren't sure or for whatever reason. So if you weren't sure, then you cannot do the pyramiding concept. You cannot scale in. But if you are certain, then you want to be dealing with a reverse pyramid. Okay, you want to be dealing with a reverse pyramid when it comes to trading. Okay, now on the flip side of things, you need to understand and distinguish between why does this thing keep happening? Okay, let me try it again. Click. Okay. You need to determine that if you're looking at this on the 15 minutes, you want to determine, are you going to continue with this flow or do you want to continue with the overall flow? Okay, if you're trying to continue with the overall flow, then scaling in here is dangerous. You need to let this time frame reload, and you want to scale in after the reload. Okay, what that means is if you were trying to sell these earlier, you can scale in at these spots on the lower time frame, but you might come into trouble if this thing reloads and it spikes you out in case your stop loss is lowered. Then you won't be able to ride the next move, right? Because you put in too much size and too much position that your average position might end up being this price, and that price, if you put it to break even because you're in profit, then that one can take you out. So you have to have a very good understanding of where you are in the market. If you are here, you need to understand where you are in this flow, but at the same time in this flow as well. Okay, so it is completely being in tune with the market momentum is going to allow you to understand, can you scale? And if you scale, you can never use the same lot size over and over and over again. You need to adjust your percentages according to where you are in the trajectory. Okay, a lot of brokers, what you do is when you enter a trade, let's say at this price for 10 standard lots, and you enter then the next trade here at 10 standard lots, they're going to give you the midsection as the average price. They're going to say that is your average price now. Okay, they will compile those two together and adjoin them. But if the flip happens, where you're, sorry, not the flip, but if you're trading 10 standard lots here, and over here you're like, I don't trust it so much, but it's a good spot still, but you trade only one standard lot, what happens is your average price comes to here. Okay, your average price comes to here. It's a lot safer, especially if you're moving your stop losses wherever it may be to break even. But if your average price is down here and you move your stop loss to break even, two things happen. All that hard work, effort, and research goes to waste because you make no money when this pop-up happens. And two, even if you did make some money, and if you had a larger size here and then this thing goes up and stops you out, that's a big problem. So you cannot do this design. Okay? No big size on the bottom. Okay? You want to start off with a larger size on top. Okay, so that is the difference between pyramid and reverse pyramiding. Now I want to show you a little bit on the ideal design, especially for conservative traders. And if you're aggressive, you can use this as well. You can start off by doing something like this. Okay. All right, so this is just for entry, okay? It's like a vase, if you want to understand a vase. So you start off initially by taking your positions to a smaller size, okay? And as you get a confirmation that your trade is going to run, you can take a larger size. And then when you have opportunities to scale, you go back to the smaller size, okay? Which means you might look at this area as it's coming up and you're like, I think this is it. So you take a smaller size here. And then when you see it's holding, and you're like, look at all this holding. It's not going up anymore. It's rolling over. Okay, larger size. You're still up in that area of safety. You're playing with the sellers. You're not playing at the buyer's area. And as the price comes down, breaks through your buyer's area, gets through here, and you're looking at this area with a little bit of risk of, what if it jumps back? You can go back to this size of taking smaller or even a smaller trade. So your majority of your position is still up in this area. So whichever way you're working with your trades, you want to make sure that you're following the design of a inverse pyramid for the sell side or a standard pyramid for the buy side. If you're in the buy direction, you want majority of your money as low as possible, and then you want to add only a little bit as prices get further and further away. It's like Bitcoin, right? It's like Bitcoin. The Bitcoin chart looks like this, doesn't it? Like that. And then it's crashed like that. So if you were trading in this area, a large size, but then as prices went up and you're like, oh my God, that's so awesome, I'm going to become a multi-gazillionaire. All the profit you made, you even add that in there and trade even bigger. Now your price that you had is now in this price because that has become your new average. And as prices are going higher, like, oh man, I'm making a lot more money. In fact, this chart is going to reach the moon. Forget the moon. It's going to reach another solar system. So you go in still adding the same amount of size, and this is becoming now your average. What happens is in this process, when the market takes a turn, you no longer have the safety of this price. You no longer have the safety of this price because you were adding size as the trade gets more and more and more dangerous and out of the field of discount. You see, this price is up here is a discounted price. This price is down here. The further it goes is now greedy prices. You have this notion of, I'm going to sell it here. I don't care because it's going to go further. That's too much of a hope. Okay? But what you can do is, I know prices are here. I can take a discounted price and I know at least I can play around this area. As a trader, that's what you're doing. You're not looking to say, I got in here, let's cross my fingers and let's hope it just goes down forever. In fact, every step of the way, add more money. You know what? It's so good. Add even more money. You know what? It's so good. Add even more money. This is only going to cause a lot of problem. And in fact, the day the trade does not work, it slaps back at you and takes it all away. Same thing happens with your account trading, right? Imagine if you're trading and you're doing, one trade here and it's small and you make some money. Good. You take the second trade. You make some money. Good. You take the third trade. But this time you're trading bigger. Okay. You're trading bigger. You're trading larger lot sizes and you're like, yeah, you make money. Very good. Now the next trade, immediately you're like, you know what? I have a nice winning streak. I'm doing so good. You know what? I'm going to trade a lot bigger. In fact, I'm going to take a loan out because I am unstoppable and I am Superman. Now what happens is all it takes is one loss and everything is wiped out and more. Right? Okay? If you can relate to this, okay, this is a problem that I used to have myself. If you can relate to this, let me know in the comments below because this is a big problem to understand that you have to monitor where you are in the flow to understand at what point can you scale. Okay? Even like your charts, you can understand at what points you should scale. You can actually do the same thing by monitoring your account on what your good trades are and what your bad trades are, and know at what points you should scale and what points you should cut back. Okay? So the same thing happens in your charts, also on your account balance when you're dealing with multiple trades. You can't keep scaling in after a winning trade. That's too dangerous. Okay? So that's the two different designs. Okay? The reverse pyramid. Okay, or if you want to call it inverse pyramid, and then the standard pyramid. this is ideal for sells, okay, and this is ideal for buys. Okay, let's move on to the next video.